Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Game podcast. I'm your host, Terry.
I'm your host, Trey.
And we are live tonight. We're going to review last week's college football games and NFL games. We're going to go over some latest news, and then we're going to go through and preview this week's coming up games and have a couple of picks and see if we can match what we did last week. We were pretty successful last week, I think.
Yeah, we had a perfect NFL slate. A few games kind of fell off there in the college football realm.
Yeah, just a few.
Florida was...
Sucks. Horrible.
Two
Terrible.
really bad penalties.
Horrible play.
And 5 terrible interceptions away from winning that game.
Shitty coaching.
Peanut gallery over here.
But I'll get on my soapbox here in a few minutes.
Just watching that game between Florida and LSU, Florida was in multiple winnable positions. You cannot turn the ball over 5 times.
I agree with that.
That's a start. And I don't know if you've noticed this year or not, but it seems like a lot more penalties are being called in these big games than prior.
Yeah.
Just
I think there's an emphasis. We know there's an emphasis in the NFL on calling certain penalties this year against the NFL players. That was a letter that was sent out by the NFL to all the teams about certain penalties that were going to be probably called a little bit more this year. Most of it having to do with discipline and taunting.
Yeah, I know the taunting in the NFL is going to be a big kind of flag this year.
Yeah. And, college football typically will mirror some of the things that the NFL does to get these young men ready for the NFL. So I think penalty-wise, there have been a lot of penalties called in these games, both NFL and college, and it's slowing the game down a little bit.
Yeah, it's off the wall penalties.
Yeah.
Like Lagway rolls out left, throws a bomb down the field, and they show a replay for the hold. And were his hands around him? Yes, but did he impede the play? No. Lagway's already leaving the pocket.
Right.
Kind of saw the same thing in Georgia, Tennessee. A couple questionable pass interference calls that went Georgia's way. I'm not going to sit here and say, the refs lost Florida the game. The refs lost Tennessee the game.
No, that was the 5 interceptions Lagway threw.
When you have to place yourself in winnable positions, and if you leave it to the refs, no matter which way it goes, you deserve to lose the game.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you were watching the Georgia-Tennessee game.
I was.
When they showed the camera view of this kid's eyes before this kick, I think everyone in the heart of Georgia knew, like, this kid's about to miss this kick. And even afterwards, he was just shell-shocked.
Yeah, yeah.
But with that being said, we'll kind of get to those a little bit later on. Just to recap some of the top 25, Indiana's still whooping up on cupcakes. They beat Indiana State this weekend 73-0. Their QB threw for 270 yards for 5 TDs. They had a running back go for 109 yards with 2 TDs. And then they had a wide receiver go for 4 touchdowns with 10 receptions for 207 yards.
Yeah, and, Oregon played Northwestern, opened up Big Ten play. I thought this was going to be this score was going to be a lot higher than what it was. It's 34-14. You expect a little bit more from Oregon as far as points go, but overall it was a good win for them. And then the big game that I was watching as a Gator fan, and a lot of other Gator fans were watching, was that Miami South Florida game. And I'm gonna go ahead and say Miami opened up a can of whoop ass and made South Florida look ridiculously bad. So that just speaks to some issues that Florida has, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, Carson Beck did throw 2 interceptions in that game against South Florida.
But he also threw for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, but when looking at it through a clear lens, his inability to basically protect the ball is kind of still coming back around this year.
And let's be honest, that's going to hurt him in conference play when they play against these bigger schools.
When you get into big games, like the fact that Florida even had the chance to only lose by 10 after throwing 5 interceptions really shows how bad LSU was this weekend. But just in that, you can't just keep giving the chance.
Right.
I do know down there in Miami, South Florida, they were in a weather delay for a while. I don't know if that affected South Florida more. What we've kind of seen this year is in weather delays, one team typically comes out a lot flatter than they were.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to your game of the week was Georgia and Tennessee. We both watched this game. We talked about this game. It was a good game. The only thing that I can pull away from it is that both teams have some defensive issues they need to hash out.
Yeah.
If they expect to be the contenders that they want to be this year.
Georgia had some bust in the secondary. They also realistically gave up 14 to 21 points on just outstanding catches.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of those, oh, the DB got beat. No, like the wide receiver just went up and made a play.
Right.
I was still kind of disappointed in the offensive play calling from Georgia this weekend. They had the chance, I'd say about halfway through the third quarter, to really assert some dominance.
Mm-hmm.
They came out straight out of half, ran the ball down Tennessee's throat. It was like a 12-play drive for a touchdown, took the lead, and then came out flat. Like it was run, screen, we're going to punt the ball.
Right.
I would have liked to seen Georgia come out of the half, run that football the first drive, score. Second drive, it's time to throw the dagger. Like, you have already imposed your will on a 12-play drive where they could not stop you.
Right.
Hit a deep ball, keep the momentum rolling, and put a team away. Like, realistically, the only reason Tennessee stayed in this game is because Georgia's inability to score touchdowns. I think they kicked 3 field goals in this game.
Yeah.
One of them, they were inside the 3-yard line and could not punch it in. Like, that's ridiculous in the realm of college football.
And it being an SEC team.
Yes. Like, we're not going to survive this year off field goals. Like,
No.
we have got to put the ball in the end zone. And I don't care, oh, I don't want to run up the score. No, like, you got to put teams down.
Yeah. Yeah. With that being said, Gunnar Stockton, 23 for 31, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, 93.1 QBR, really efficient for him. Everybody got involved in the rushing game with Georgia. Nate Frazier had 14 carries, 73 yards. Gunnar Stockton had 13 for 38. Chauncey Bowens had 12 for 32, and Dwight Phillips Jr. had 5 for 29. Receiving, he spread the ball around pretty good. Colby Young had 4 receptions for 73 yards. Zachariah Branch had 5 receptions for 69 yards and a touchdown. London Humphreys, 2 receptions, 59 yards and a touchdown. Tennessee, Joey Aguilar, 24 for 36. Again, another efficient day for him, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks. Star Thomas ran the ball for 60 yards on 9 attempts. Deshaun Bishop ran the ball 54 yards on 15 attempts. And Peyton Lewis had 19 yards on 5 attempts. And then I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Tennessee's receiving core is outstanding. Chris Brazel II, 6 receptions, 177 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Braylon Staley, 9 receptions, 97 yards, 1 touchdown. Mike Matthews had 5 receptions and 59 yards. I mean, overall, the teams were pretty equal if you look at it. Georgia had 502 total yards to Tennessee's 496. Both have 2 turnovers. Georgia had 28 first downs. Tennessee had 23. What got Tennessee were their penalties. They were 10 for 82 yards. Georgia only had 5 for 39. Both of them were efficient on 3rd down, and Georgia did convert 2 4th down conversions to Tennessee's none.
So one of those was to keep the game alive.
Right. And then, of course, Georgia had time of possession, 38 minutes to Tennessee's 21 minutes.
So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's a 4th and 6th. Throw to the end zone. Gunner drops his nuts and absolutely lays one in there.
Oh, yeah.
For Humphreys.
Yeah. Yeah.
When that ball went up, I was like, oh, my God, no way.
Yeah.
And then when he came down with it, I was going crazy inside my house.
Yeah. So
kind of moving on from that game, I'll go ahead and say it. Arch Manning is a bust. 27-10 Texas over UTEP.
Struggling against UTEP. Yeah.
Absolute struggle. He actually got the Spencer Rattler treatment this weekend
Hmm.
by Tennessee fans or Texas fans that were booing him basically off the field.
Yeah, I heard that. That Texas A&M Notre Dame game, 41-40 Texas A&M. Notre Dame starts the season off as 0-2. Not good for Notre Dame fans. Texas A&M is now 3-0. Mike Elko's got Texas A&M up and running the way they used to be. I again, where were the defenses at? Marcel Reed for Texas A&M, 17 for 37, 360 yards, 2 touchdowns. Levon Moss, 20 carries, 81 yards, 3 touchdowns. C.J. Carr from Notre Dame, 20 for 32, 293, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jeremiah Love finally got a good amount of carries in this game, 23 carries, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. And Jadarian Price had 12 carries and 68 yards and 2 touchdowns. I still don't understand why these guys are not carrying the ball 25 to 30 times a game apiece. They're the 2 best running backs in college football, basically.
Yeah, I'm going to get on my soapbox on this game just for a minute.
Mhm.
Notre Dame this year shows exactly why the rankings prior to the CFP rankings are absolute bullshit. Show me another team in the country that can be 0-2 and still be in the top 25.
Right.
Oh, they didn't lose big. No, they're still 0-2.
Yeah.
Like, I think I saw the other day, there is 32 3-0 teams in the country, and you have Notre Dame ranked above them.
Yeah, I don't. It's because it's Notre Dame. I don't agree with that either.
And, like, looking at their schedule, they have the potential to lose 2 more games realistically.
Right. Finish 8-4.
Maybe Arkansas beats them, and then they play Boston College, and they play a really good USC team.
Yeah.
This might be the year that we see Notre Dame not even close to making the college football playoffs.
It could happen, which would be detrimental to Marcus Freeman. But we'll see what happens. Moving on, Vanderbilt, South Carolina. So Vanderbilt came out and smacked South Carolina right in the mouth. And old Beamer Ball couldn't get it going. Diego Pavia, 18 for 25, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jamels Lassiter, 1 carry, 44 yards. Cedric Alexander, 13 carries, 41 yards. Pavia also ran for 24 yards. I guess Lenore Sellers went out of the game again. He was only in when he was 6 for 7 for 94 yards, 1 interception, and then Luke Doty came in 18-27, 148 yards and 1 interception.
Yeah, so Sellers went out in concussion protocol with about 5 minutes left in the second quarter. The score was 14-7 at that point.
Yeah,
I think if he stays in the game, it ends up being closer.
Right.
Once South Carolina got to where they couldn't move the ball, Vanderbilt had the ability to run up the score.
They just pin their ears back on defense. Yeah.
Moving on to the Clemson Georgia Tech game. This is actually really good for me after picking Georgia Tech to win the ACC. Clemson goes to 1-2 on the year. Georgia Tech continues on to a 3-0 season so far.
Yeah, and I think Clemson's got some issues offensively, and I think it starts with their quarterback. He made some bad decisions. He did throw 1 interception, 15 for 26 for 207 yards. He did throw 1 touchdown. He did rush the ball for 17 attempts, 62 yards and 1 touchdown. Haynes King for Georgia Tech, 20 for 28, 211 yards. And then, of course, he led the Georgia Tech offense in rushing with 25 carries, 103 yards and 1 touchdown. Jamal Haynes, 12 carries, 26 yards and 1 touchdown. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, though, I don't see Haynes King continuing to run the ball 20 to 25 times a game and surviving the rest of their schedule. I think their running backs need to step up and take some of that pressure off of him.
Yeah, he did the same thing last year. But what we have seen historically is running QBs kind of wear their legs out early in the season.
Yes.
If they ever get to a point where they're injured and they can't really move the ball the way their offenses are like surrounding them, typically a defense is going to pin their ears back and blitz.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
We'll skip past this 13 Oklahoma, 14 Ohio Never mind. We will not skip Iowa State because they were in a barn burner with Arkansas State 24-16.
Yeah, I didn't watch this game. I saw a couple of the highlights, but Iowa State looked like they struggled a little bit in that game. I mean, Beck still threw for 14 for 25, 265 yards, and Hanson still ran the ball 18 carries, 116 yards. So offensively, they're doing what they want to do. I think that maybe the defense is where their question marks are at right now, and they need to get that squared away if they're going to continue to be a contender in the Big 12.
Next up is a game of Arkansas versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss is in another barn burner.
Arkansas always plays Ole Miss hard.
Yeah, Arkansas threw a pick late in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Turnovers, man. You're not going to win games in the SEC turning that ball over.
Yeah, Taylon Green for Arkansas, 22 for 35, 305 yards, 1 touchdown. He also ran the ball 14 times for 115 yards. Mike Washington Jr. ran the ball for Arkansas, 65 yards. Trinidad Chambliss, 21 for 29 for Ole Miss, 353 yards, 1 touchdown. That was after he came in for Austin Simmons, who went out with an injury. Trinidad Chambliss also ran the ball 15 times for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kawan Lacey, 17 carries, 44 yards, 1 touchdown. And both quarterbacks just spread the ball all over the place to their receivers. I mean, it was back and forth. This was a typical Ole Miss Arkansas football game. No defense, all offense, and Ole Miss just got lucky and came out on top.
Yeah, Chambliss is actually their backup QB,
right,
to come in and throw for 300 and basically 50 yards.
Can we say quarterback controversy in Ole Miss?
For sure. I think if Simmons has a game where he struggles, Chambliss is
short
100%
leash
coming.
Yeah,
it's going to be a short leash at this point.
I agree with that. I think Lane saw the potential, or either knew about the potential, and that's why he wasn't too worried when he went out, because he knew what his backup could bring into the game.
And even there, Ole Miss has brought in a QB that's twice the potential Jackson Dart was last year.
Yes.
They make really good decisions with the football. They have the ability to run. If you can stretch a defense out on the perimeter, which Lane Kiffin likes to throw the football.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does.
You either have to choose, am I going to protect the run or am I going to protect the pass? And right. Ole Miss can really hurt you both ways this year.
Right.
Into the next game, I'm tired of my Facebook feed already. Alabama's not back. They beat a pitiful Wisconsin team,
Wisconsin hasn't been in national prominence since Barry Alvarez left. I mean, they've had some good teams, but they always seem to lose the big games. Now, Ty Simpson did throw the ball all over the place, 24 for 29, 382 yards and 4 touchdowns, QBR of 89.8. But where was the Tide's rushing attack? Ty Simpson ran the ball 6 for 25 yards. Kevin Riley ran the ball 7 for 20 yards. Dre Washington 2 for 13 yards. If it wasn't for Ryan Williams being on the field, 5 receptions, 165 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, I'm sorry, but Alabama cannot go through an SEC schedule being one-dimensional throwing the ball. They need to get their rushing attack where it needs to be, and their biggest question mark right now, and I said this last week, is the offensive line.
Yeah, the biggest thing to see with Alabama, they have a bye week this next coming up Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So Georgia and Alabama will both come off a bye week and play each other in Athens.
And they're going to have to run the ball in that game.
They're going to have to run the ball on Georgia.
Yeah.
One thing concerning with that game is it doesn't really look like Georgia has the ability to go after the quarterback with their defensive line this year. That's kind of unusual to see in a Georgia game,
mm-hmm.
of not being able to control the line of scrimmage. I know Kirby's about to get in that ass. Defense is kind of his forte, his little baby. I expect them to come out against Alabama, ears pinned back, ready to get after the QB.
Yeah, I see that too. I do too.
I will say, though, we typically play our worst game when we play Alabama.
That is true. We're going to skip down to the Pittsburgh-West Virginia game. West Virginia pulled that out 31-24. Rich Rod got his win against Pittsburgh. Good game. It was a defensive struggle there for a little bit, but after they made halftime adjustments, they came out and opened up an offense, and it ended up being a good game for West Virginia winning that game.
I got nothing to say on that game. You didn't watch it.
I just saw the highlights.
Haven't really read into it. Haven't watched the highlights, but it was good to see West Virginia finally pick up a win there.
Yeah.
Pitt was starting to look like the real deal there for a second.
Yeah. Yeah. Outside of that, the only other games that were really playing, the late games, you had California, Minnesota, where Cal beat Minnesota. Stanford and Boston College. Stanford won that game for their first win of the season. And then Arizona State beat Texas State, and Hawaii beat Portland State. And before we get out of this, I want to talk about the Florida LSU game. Okay, 5 interceptions. That's hard to come back from. 100%. I get that. But I honestly think that it is a developmental issue with the players in Florida. It is also play calling in Florida offensively. And both of those issues, those are the two biggest issues, I think, is the development of the players and the play calling. And with those two issues, those are coaching issues. That needs to be fixed at Florida. Now, I'm not going to come on here and say fire Billy Napier, but if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But if he does not get fired at the end of this year, he needs to change something. And the first thing he needs to change is he needs to quit calling the offense for the Florida Gators. He needs to go out there, pay some money for a good offensive coordinator, bring that person in that can develop Lagway the way he needs to be developed, and get that offense back on track. Because it is clear that as a head coach, he cannot manage head coaching duties and offensive coordinator duties. But I will say fire Billy Napier, please.
Yeah, just gathering some thoughts on that game. I know me and you watched this game together. Florida has a huge issue discipline-wise, turning the ball over. And even me and you kind of made the comparison that Anthony Richardson had the same problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to take your checkdowns. Georgia checks the ball down feels like every play, and they have the talent to go out there. And I think Lagway he said last year that he had kind of figured out that the ball's not always in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
What it kind of looked like in this game, he was trying to do too much.
Oh, 100%.
Like, he had a couple just heaves.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe my wide receiver's down there somewhere. Like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
In the SEC, all you need to do is live to play another down.
Yeah.
If you're 2nd and 8, like,
and
some plays he was out of the tackle box, could have easily thrown the ball away.
Yeah.
Instead, he forces into a tight window, throws an interception.
Right. And looking at the stats, just comparing the stats, Lagway was 33 for 49 for 287 yards, 1 touchdown, and 5 interceptions. Jaden Ball only carried the ball 10 times for 46 yards. Jacoby Jackson only had 7 carries for 13 yards. Why are we not running the ball? Look at what LSU did with Garrett Nussmeier and Caden Durham. 15 for 27, 220 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Caden Durham, 15 carries, 93 yards. They established the run game, which opened up their passing game.
I will say, though, that LSU has a really good run defense this year.
They do.
And if a team has the ability to make you one-dimensional and you tune into that one-dimensional play calling, it's going to put a lot of pressure on DJ Lagway. But what this tape just showed, every team that y'all are going to play the next 6 weeks, is if we stop the run, DJ Lagway is going to throw the ball and he's going to make mistakes.
Right, and those are adjustment issues as well as they are player development issues, because he is not reading the defense the proper way. Or if he is, and he's just doing whatever the hell he wants to, then you know what? Take his ass out and put in a quarterback that's going to run your offense the way it needs to be ran, like Mr. Trammell, who's DJ's backup, and sit his ass. I don't give a shit how much money you're making through NIL. Go drink a Gatorade. They're paying you for it.
Yeah, I know he definitely has some frustrations, and also just watching that game, like, it sucks to watch someone you know is a good quarterback just run for their life the whole game and get so frustrated that I'm going to start forcing this ball. Like, me and you sat there and watched him throw into triple coverage 3 times.
Right.
Like, back to back to back.
And then asking, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, and that's a development issue.
Right.
That's not a player issue.
No.
This dude is a sophomore playing for the University of Florida.
Right.
He has talent around him. Napier needs to understand what makes DJ Lagway click and cater the offense to DJ Lagway.
Mm-hmm.
Too many times we see head coaches come in and I'm going to call this game my way and you're going to play it my way.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to win games like that.
No,
like
not in the Power 5 conferences. You're not.
No, like Georgia Tech's offensive play calling is around Haynes King. Haynes King wants to run the football, so we're going to let him run the football.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, watching this Georgia game, Gunner is progressing through the year. I saw him a couple times make 2 or 3 reads before taking off with the football.
Right.
And even the commentators in that game were talking about, with a dual threat QB that likes to run the ball, you have to teach them to trust the process and trust their reads.
Right.
Stay in the pocket. Like, if you don't have a reason to run out of the pocket, stay in there. Like, one time Gunner tucked it and ran, and he had a dude streaking down the sideline wide open.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have just came back to it.
Right.
That's development, and I kind of trust in Kirby, his QB coaches. Don't trust in Mike Bobo.
Right.
To develop Gunner throughout the year. Like, people still need to realize this is only Gunner Stockton's first year starting for the University of Georgia.
Right.
He's still young. He's going to have to grow into this role.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've saw, game on the line, drop your nuts, he did a hell of a job.
Right. Right. Well, with that being said, we're going to move on to next week's picks, talking about the games that are starting on Thursday and going through Saturday, and then we'll go over some quick news. The first game that we're going to talk about, well, no, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. Rice and Charlotte are playing Thursday.
You want to do those Thursday?
You want to?
Yeah.
Okay. On the fly adjustment. We'll go over news real quick.
UCLA fired their head coach.
Huh?
UCLA fires head coach.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You read my mind. So UCLA fires Deshaun Foster, and then piggybacking off of that, Virginia Tech fires Brent Pry. So now we've got 2 schools that have already gotten rid of their head coaches.
Yeah, and also affecting the recruiting class, UCLA just lost their number 1 linebacker that was coming out of Washington for this next class.
Yeah.
He announced on Twitter today that he was officially decommitting from UCLA, and his recruitment was back 100% open.
Yeah. So, speaking of that Virginia Tech, and I'm not out here to start rumors by no means, but I did see a post from John Gruden telling the Virginia Tech Hokie fans to be patient and that he was down in Tampa just waiting. So I don't know if there's something to read into that or not.
They're not hiring John Gruden.
So it'd be funny if I think somebody is going to. The question is who? Because these are not going to be the last 2 coaches that are going to be fired this year.
No.
And I think John Gruden's at the top of a very short list for a lot of people if they have to get rid of their coach.
Yeah, I will say, while we're kind of on the topic of news, I'll just give a prediction that this is Deion Sanders' last year in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
From watching their games, that man does not care whatsoever about coaching these football games. They had a tough game against Houston. Houston ended up pulling that game out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they go from here. The hype with Colorado is kind of over.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where we were kind of predicting his landing spot, I don't think is a landing spot any longer. I think Mike Norvell's kind of protected his job at least for another year or 2.
I still think Florida State has to win 9 games 8 to 9 games and make a decent bowl game.
I think they have the ability to.
And I think they do too. With the offensive coordinator change, bringing in Gus Malzahn, the defensive coordinator change, and the defense, how they're playing and how the offense is playing, I do think that he has a chance to revitalize his head coaching career in Florida State. The question, though, is he going to be able to keep Malzahn and his defensive coordinator there next year at the end of this year?
So Malzahn will not get another head coaching position. I'll go and say that out loud. He did an abysmal job at Auburn, ended up tanking that program to where we see it today. He was consistently a 9 or 10 win coach. So if you want a 9 or 10 win coach, go get him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if they can take Florida State back to national prominence and be in that discussion for the college football playoffs every year, I think he's happy right where he's at.
Right.
I don't look for any move, OC or DC, at least till they make semifinals or the national championship game.
Yeah.
I will go on record right here and predict the ACC championship is probably going to be Florida State, Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very real possibility. I don't see Clemson I don't see Clemson bouncing back from these early season losses.
Yeah, and if you watched any of Dabo Swinney's press conference, he said some interesting things about if they didn't like what he was doing, then
get rid of me.
Get rid of me. And be careful what you wish for, Dabo, because this day and age, I mean, unless you know somebody's knocking on the door, you tell that to the wrong person, and you're liable to end up unemployed at the end of the year, regardless of what your record is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just something that you need to,
Clemson is one of those historic spots that, I think anyone would love to go coach at.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also not active in the transfer portal. They're not active in NIL.
Right.
So where do you go from Dabo?
I don't know.
But also, I don't see them turning the page and trending back up with Dabo's way of wanting to run a team of, well, I'm going to stay committed to the guys I recruited.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect example, the Branch brothers out of USC that Georgia picked up this year have changed their offense completely.
Right.
Speed around the edge. We all know Bobo likes to run screenplays. We have someone fast enough out there that can make a man miss, pick up 4 to 5 yards, and if you can do that, every screen pass, you're going to win a ball game.
Right.
I think Clemson has a lack of talent, and the way Dabo's coaching is hurting him in recruiting.
Right.
But with all that being said, I'm interested in this week's games as well. I probably won't watch a whole lot of college football this weekend as I'll be out of town. But should be interesting.
Yeah, so some Heisman news. Obviously, we understand that Arch Manning was one of the top quarterbacks that was supposed to be up there for the Heisman Trophy, but it looks like he's dropped off a significant amount with his struggles at Texas, and it looks like Oklahoma's quarterback John. Is that Mateer or is that Mater? Mateer. Okay, I like
that dude wins Heisman.
Yeah, I like Mater. I like Mater better, but we'll go with Mateer. All right. So
Mateer
John Mateer is a new favorite to win according to ESPN Bet, and then lo and behold, Miami quarterback Carson Beck is also moving up in the Heisman favorite.
Yeah, they got to play someone real
obviously
first.
Arch Manning dropped. Lenore Sellers was high up there too, but he's considered a liability at this point with his injuries. Cade Klubnik was also a high favorite to pick to win the Heisman, but because of Clemson struggles and his struggles, he's fallen off a lot. And then Garrett Nussmeier is he's about the same spot where he was at the beginning of the season. And then Oregon's quarterback Dante Moore. And then now they're saying that Alabama's wide receiver Jeremiah Smith and Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, running back, rounding out that top 10. And then, of course, as the season goes on, that's going to shuffle and change and based off of stats and everything. So I'm sure some of these names are probably not off the list completely and probably will make a surge to get back up there. But
and one thing with college football, just the same as NFL, it only takes one snap for someone's season to be completely over.
Mm-hmm.
Lenore Seller got knocked out with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter this past weekend of what looked like he was going to have a pretty good game. Those ultimately affect your stats. I'm really glad this year, though, that we don't have the Heisman discussion that we did last year of, oh, dude plays both sides of the ball, he's a Heisman.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but the Oregon Duck wrote on a notepad last year and was like, snaps ain't a stat.
Mm-hmm.
Still find that funny as shit. But anyways, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be covering the NFL. Had some great games this past weekend and some news on a player that's going to be out for the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Something about a toe?
Toe injury.
I don't know. Somebody said something about cutting it off and just playing anyway.
So me and Terry went to lunch today, literally sitting there watching the TV. It's a sports podcast. And the question that pops up at the bottom is, should Joe Burrow cut off his big toe
and play next week or this week?
And
it's great. Gotta love sports.
What are football fans?
I know. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to Beyond the Game podcast. I'm your host, Terry.
I'm your host, Trey.
And we're going to move on to the NFL, where I'm going to cover some quick news real quick, and then we'll get into last week's scores. So I guess the biggest news today is Tom Brady was seen sitting in the coach's booth during the Raiders game because he's the owner. I didn't realize that was such a big deal in the NFL.
Yeah, me either.
But outside of that, go Tom. Way to make sure your guys are doing what you're paying them to do.
Yeah.
Outside of that, Vikings, their running back Jones is out with a hamstring injury. He's on injured reserve. Coach McVay tore his plantar fascia on the sideline during the win. I mean, I guess coaches ain't even safe anymore. Damn.
It's the turf.
Josh, I guess so. Damn. Him and Joe Burrow, God forbid. Josh Allen is likely to wear a visor to protect his nose. I guess he got busted. I didn't know he got hit in the face, or Josh Allen in that game. Apparently, he got hit in the face and busted his nose up pretty good. So, and the Bengals, with the loss of Joe Burrow, is adding quarterbacks Clifford and White to their practice squad. I guess Jake Browning is their backup quarterback.
Yeah, so he was their backup QB 2 years ago when Joe Burrow went out.
Yeah, so... but
you talk in terms of game managers, he does have the possibility to win them some games.
He played for Washington in college, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Kind of same story, different year, though, with Joe Burrow being injured. He's kind of turning into what I consider an injury-prone QB.
Yeah, but hey, if he cuts that toe off, he can be ready to play on Sunday.
They said he has to get surgery done on his toe.
And he's going to be out for 3 months.
I did see that. I saw 3 months.
3 months, yeah. Because it is turf toe. So, and when we understand that they do get those injuries, and it's typically a 2 to 3 month turnaround. It could be a little faster without the surgery, but I think because he is having the surgery, that's what's prolonging his return.
So I'm going to say this right now. Turf toe is the biggest bullshit injury I think I've ever heard in my life. My toe hurts. I can't play to get paid $50 million a year.
Yeah, I mean.
But in Joe Burrow's defense, his offensive line is Swiss cheese. And he knows he has to run for his life.
Yeah.
So guess what he gets to do the next 3 months?
Yeah. Rest.
He gets to sit back, elevated toe,
and
do whatever he wants.
Watch the games from the sidelines.
And get paid $50 million a year.
It must be nice. All right, moving on. We're going to start with last Thursday's game with the Packers and the Commanders. I picked Washington to win this game.
Yeah, I picked Packers to win this game.
And you picked Green Bay.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Green Bay did win. I watched a little bit of it, not much. Jaden Daniels was 24 for 42 for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think Washington's issue in that game was the lack of their rushing attack. Ja'Cory Merritt only had 4 carries for 17 yards, and Austin Eckler only had 8 carries for 17 yards, and then Jaden Daniels had 7 carries for 17 yards. They only ran the ball 19 times for 51 yards.
So this game does, I will say for the Washington Commanders, it does kind of meet historical values in a sophomore year when someone comes out and just blazes the road.
Mm-hmm.
Their basically rookie year. Teams have got an entire year of film on you.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't get film from college, but obviously we know the speed of the game is different.
Right.
Also, there's a kind of a debate whether or not teams should be playing starters in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
I get the preseason is for guys to make the team.
Right.
But multiple people have came on the record and said, I've learned that playing in the preseason and getting those live snaps against someone that's not my team makes me better.
Right.
So I was kind of disappointed to see Jaden Daniels not really playing preseason. I get his roster spots solidified.
Yeah. But when you get an opportunity to practice, you should practice.
Absolutely.
So, and Jordan Love with Green Bay, 19 for 31, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I think this was the difference maker. Not only was Green Bay's defense a difference maker in this game, But Green Bay, Josh Jacobs ran the ball 23 times for 84 yards, 1 touchdown. Savion Williams, 2 carries, 24 yards. I mean, overall, they had 30 carries as a team with 135 yards, plus the 269 in passing. That's a good, balanced offense, and I think that offensively, that was a difference maker between Green Bay and Washington. But we do know that Green Bay's defense has been enhanced with Michael Parsons. I think that they're going to be a good defense this year, and I think that not only do they give Washington a hard time, but they're going to give everybody they play a hard time defensively, as long as their offense can keep them in the game and give them rest when they need it.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on to Sunday, talked about, Joe Burrow going out with turf toe. They did beat the Jaguars 31-27. Jacksonville's 1-1. They're having issues again. Trevor Lawrence did throw for 271, 24 out of 42, 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
I'm going to just go ahead and say I know it's week 2. This is a make it or break it year for Trevor Lawrence. He's in the last year of his contract.
Oh, I agree.
If he doesn't start playing better, they're going to go get a QB in the draft.
I
or trade for one.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to trade for one.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. Obviously we know Joe Burrow went out early, so Jake Browning came in, took over 21 for 32, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Again, Jacksonville had a pretty good rushing attack. I think what hurt them was defense and the lack of ability in the turnovers. You cannot turn the ball over, and your defense can't be giving up big plays. Jamari Chase had 14 receptions for 165 yards. T. Higgins caught the ball 3 times for 56 yards. I mean, they were throwing the ball around, so typical Cincinnati offense. Even when Browning came in. But, I mean,
the only hope for the Bengals right now to even see Joe Burrow come back, I think, this year is to make the playoffs.
Right. I agree.
If they're sitting there below 500 team, I think he's done for the year.
I wouldn't push him to come back, because if he goes out there and he re-injures himself and then he's out indefinitely after that, then you just wasted your franchise quarterback.
So moving into the Giants-Cowboys game.
Great game.
Did you watch this game?
Yes. Great game, by the way.
Russell Wilson is the only quarterback I know, and the only team is the Giants that can throw for 450 yards and still lose a game.
Yeah. I agree. This was by far his best game in years as an offensive as a quarterback for a team.
And I know me and you were talking last week about, is it time for who is it? Jackson Dart to come into play?
Dart, yeah.
But Russell Wilson does Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
2nd and 6 in OT.
Mm-hmm.
Heave. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Heave down the field. Throws an interception.
Yeah, and again, it's decision making. You know better. You've been in the league for how many years now? So,
Russell Wilson's had some heartbreak over some interceptions, though.
He has, yeah.
Lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, Scatterboo ran 11 times for 45 yards and 1 touchdown. Russell Wilson ran for 3 carries for 23 yards. Tyrone Tracy Jr., 5 carries, 15 yards. Dak Prescott had a pretty good game, too. 38 for 52, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Javonte Williams carried the ball 18 times for 97 yards. Dak ran for 3 and 17. Miles Sanders had 5 and 15. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, though, Dak spread the ball around. CeeDee Lamb, 9 receptions, 112 yards. Jake Ferguson, 9 receptions, 78 yards. And we had that conversation last week about Dallas getting Ferguson involved. George Pickens came over from the Steelers, 5 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown.
That dude is a menace.
Cavante Turpin, he's the rookie. 4 receptions, 47 yards, 1 touchdown. Javonte Williams catching the ball out of the backfield, 6 receptions for 33 yards. I mean, Malik Neighbors for the Giants, 9 receptions, 167, 2 touchdowns, and Wan'Dale Robinson, 8 receptions, 142 for 1, and then Darius Slayton, 2 receptions and 61 yards. So, I mean, they both quarterbacks spread the ball around. So the only question I have is, where the hell were the defenses?
Yeah, and I will say, watching the post game, nothing pissed me off more than watching Jerry Jones in the locker room acting like he did something.
Right.
Like, dude has ruined a franchise.
Yeah.
Moving into that Bears-Lions game, looked like prime Lions are back. I know they had a rough first week against the Packers, but I think anybody struggles against the Packers this year. Caleb Williams,
The Bears have got some
he's not
issues.
adapting.
No. Jared Goff for the Lions, 23 for 28, efficient, 334 yards and 5 touchdowns. His QBR was 94.1. Caleb Williams on the other end, 19 for 30, 207, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. I saw a video today where they were saying that you hate to see a first-year coach get fired at the end of the year, but a lot of people are saying that if Chicago doesn't start to win, that may happen in Chicago, that they may be looking for a new coach by the end of this year after their first-year coach. So,
but even if he gets fired, that dude has a job
anywhere.
The day he gets fired as an OC.
And my rebuttal to that is that's not the issue. It could be maybe the player or players are not doing what they're coached to do because they get paid all this money and they think they can do whatever the hell they want to because it's the NFL, and the NFL is not a game anymore. It is a business. And when you have people making that much money, we've seen it time and time again over the last probably 20 years, if not longer. You have spoiled men who think they are God's gift to the world when it comes to sports. They get these huge contracts, and then they decide that they don't want to do what the coaches tell them to.
Yeah.
So, and I
don't know what all the Bears' issue is.
And then just given his
back to the Jaguars game though, I just kind of remembered it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the video of Trevor Lawrence waving off Liam Cohen in that game?
Yes, and they asked him about that, by the way, and Liam Cohen said it wasn't. He didn't take offense to it. It was one of those in the moment situations where Trevor threw the ball, and I don't know if it was incomplete or he threw the interception. I think it was incomplete. And it was the coach basically saying, "What the hell are you doing?"
Hit him in the chest.
Yeah,
but also on another side of it though is like statistically you are the worst quarterback in the league. Like if you have any chance of wanting to be picked up next year, I don't care if it's heat of the moment. You can't look at your head coach and be like, "Nah, I'm good, bro."
Right.
Like kind of, you know what, off.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's issues. Well, I mean, there's issues across the league right now with injuries. There's issues across the league with certain teams with offense, certain teams with defense. So it's going to be, I mean, I know it's early. We're only in week 3 coming up this week. So it's going to be interesting to see how all these issues play out throughout the course of the summer or the season. Moving
into the next game, we had the Rams versus the Titans, 33-19. Cam Ward's starting to look better.
I think he's getting more comfortable.
Yeah, he threw for 175 yards, 1 TD, 0 interceptions. Yeah. What you want to see out of a rookie QB, though, is protecting the football.
I agree.
If he can protect the football, everything else will come to him.
Right.
I think he has the talent, the skill set to make the Titans better. Mm-hmm. I honestly think Titans got to go get him some weapons.
Well, I mean, if you
Calvin Ridley's washed up. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
And that's his only real target on that team.
Yeah.
They have got to go get him some weapons.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford, typical day for him, 23 for 33, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Kyren Williams, 17 carries, 66 yards. Cam Ward, like you said, 19 for 33, 175. Tony Pollard ran the ball for Tennessee 20 times for 92 yards. They've got the rushing attack. I mean, 92 yards. But I agree with you. When you look at where the ball went, Calvin Ridley had 3 receptions for 57 yards. Eli, I think that's O'Mainer, 4 for 56. Van Jefferson, 2 for 10. I mean, Tyler Lockett, 2 for 9. Gunnar Helm, 2 for 9. I agree with you. For Los Angeles, Devontae Adams had 6 receptions for 106, and Nakua had 8 for 91. He needs some young blood in his receiving core, because these are a lot of veterans, and they probably still have a lot of football left, but I don't think they are as explosive as they once were.
And I don't think putting them all out there as one receiving core is the answer. Obviously, the game speeds up. Rookies are faster today than I think they've ever been.
Right.
The offensive side of the ball is geared to scoring a lot of points. You have got to go get him some weapons.
Yeah, I agree.
If they tank this season, which I'm not saying they're going to, but if they can somehow end up first round again this year, like number 1 pick, this year is going to be a heavy wide receiver core.
Or maybe make some trades or something. I mean, you might need to do something to get those guys in there. So,
and even if like Dallas has 2 picks this year, 2 picks next year, if you're first round overall and you think you can get your guy at wherever Dallas is, or you pick up 2 picks to let them get the number 1 overall, we'll see how the Titans kind of play that.
Right.
Because if they could get 2 first rounders this year and just go wide receiver heavy and pick up 2 elite wide receivers out of the draft,
right,
and truly just stock their whole franchise into rookies and going and getting Cam Ward weapons, I think Tennessee looks like a contender next year.
I agree.
Moving into the Patriots and Dolphins, all I've seen on Facebook this week is fire McDaniel and get rid of Tua.
Yeah, I've seen that. But
Tua threw 26 for 32 for 315 yards for 2 TDs.
And 1 interception.
Yeah, 1 interception. Tyreek Hill had 6 receptions, 109 yards. Not to start any rumors, but it is rumored that Tyreek Hill is in conversations with the Kansas City Chiefs to go back.
I would not be surprised. Yeah, so Drake May for New England, 19 for 23, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty efficient for him. He also had 10 carries for 31 yards. Ramondre Stevenson, 11 carries for 54 yards. Stephon Diggs had 4 receptions for 32 yards. Trayvon Henderson had 2 receptions for 30 yards. Ramondre Stevenson had 5 receptions for 88 yards, and Austin Hooper had 3 receptions for 38 yards. But Miami's got some issues down there that they got to fix. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out down there in South Beach. 49ers and Saints. Injury riddled, 100%. Yeah, Mac Jones did good. Obviously, he's starting for Brock Purdy, who's going to be out for a couple of weeks. 26 for 39, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's efficient. Christian McCaffrey, 13 carries, 55 yards. Brian Robertson Jr., 6 carries for 20 yards. Receiving wise, Juwan Jennings, 5 receptions, 89 yards. Ricky Purcell, 4 receptions, 56 yards. Christian McCaffrey had 6 receptions and 52 yards. So it looks like McCaffrey's getting back to his old self, where he's averaging about 50 yards a game rushing and 50 or more yards a game receiving. Excuse me. So that's good for San Francisco.
Yeah, of course. A year I don't take him fantasy.
Yeah, so I think the issue, though, with Purdy being out, I think McCaffrey's going to have to stay healthy. So I believe that Brian Robertson's probably going to have to pick up the slack a little bit there with in-between tackle rushing to keep McCaffrey from taking those blows. And I think as long as Mac Jones can be the game manager that they want him to be, then San Francisco is going to be okay. But their defense is riddled with injuries that they're waiting on some guys to come back. And I know they're rotating a lot of players in and out of that defense. So they're going to have to play ball control offense to give them an opportunity to win games coming up here soon.
Yeah, it's kind of a better part of the year to be injury riddled.
The first of the year
this weekend.
Yeah,
Jaguars next weekend, and then they go to LA, which is when you would kind of hope that you have some of those defensive weapons back,
right?
Because your next 3 games are Rams, Buccaneers, Falcons, and then you play the Texans.
Yeah,
That's a tough 4-game stretch right there, and you better hope you got some players back for that stretch.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler for New Orleans, 25 for 34, 207 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, efficient for him. Alvin Kamara had 21 carries for 99 yards. Spencer Rattler ran for four carries for 14 yards. Chris Olave, 6 receptions, 54 yards. Rashid Shaheed, 4 receptions, 52 yards. Juwan Johnson, 5 receptions, 49 yards. I mean, he spread the ball around, which is what you want to see him do, what you want to see him to do down in New Orleans.
Yeah, and
I just think, and it was a close game. I think New Orleans played a good game. They just didn't have enough to get past San Francisco.
yeah, I don't see the Saints winning the next 2 weekends. At that point, starting 0-4, season's kind of washed. I can see them going to Riley Leonard.
Yeah, yeah.
110%. It's time to invest in our rookie. Let's get him some progression. See if he can progress through snaps. Start focusing on next year.
Yeah.
Which this was kind of the discussion going into the years. What happens if the Saints start slow? What happens if they start 0-4?
Right. Moving on to the Bills and the Jets. The biggest news that came out of this game, other than Josh Allen being efficient, was that he took a shot to the nose and got a small injury, but was able to come back and return. And the Bills beat the Jets 30-10. I think the Bills are going to go deep into the playoffs again this year. James Cook had 21 carries, 132 yards. Josh Allen ran the ball 6 times for 59 yards. He also threw for 14 for 25, 148 yards. I mean, it's typical Bills offense. It's typical Bills team. Justin Fields got benched, and then Tyrod Taylor came in, and combined, they both threw for 54 yards. That's just not going to cut it. So I think
Wilson had 50 of those.
Yeah.
On 4 receptions.
Yeah. I think the Jets have got some issues offensively that they need to hammer out. But it also seems to be typical Jets team.
They have no offensive line. I was really hoping Justin Fields was going to have a good year. Big fan of his. I like what he did at Ohio State, but the Jets are going to have to go get an offensive line. It does not matter who you put back there quarterback if you don't have an offensive line.
Right.
Next, moving into the Seahawks Steelers. Seahawks win 31-17. Sam Darnold for the Seahawks goes 22 for 33 for 295 yards and 2 TDs. On Seattle, Walker had a good game, going for 13 carries for 105 yards, 1 TD. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 8 receptions for 103 yards for Seattle. All around, basically a perfect game if you want to look at it on an offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh's defense is supposed to be one of the top defenses in the NFL this year, and I don't know what happened here other than the fact that Sam Darnold just picked them apart, and that Seattle was able to establish the run game. Aaron Rodgers threw 18 for 33 for 203 yards, 1 touchdown. He threw 2 interceptions. Jaylen Warren ran the ball 14 times for 48 yards. Overall as a team, they only had 72 yards rushing. That is not a typical Mike Tomlin offense in Pittsburgh. He likes to run the ball, and that's what they need. They need to get back to establishing the run game one way or the other. And not to mention, too, that other than DK Metcalf, who only had 3 receptions and 20 yards and 1 touchdown, Aaron Rodgers is going to need more weapons around him if he's going to continue to be a quarterback for Pittsburgh. But I think this is one of those one-and-done years for him with Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to end up finding. Yeah, I think they're going to be in need for another quarterback. I mean, they do have Mason Rudolph, who did come in, went 2 for 2 for 12 yards, but I think they're going to be looking for a quarterback by the end of the year.
Yeah, moving into the next game, Ravens beat Browns 41-17. We'll quickly cover this one. Lamar Jackson threw for 4 TDs for 225 yards. Zay Flowers 7 receptions for 75 yards, which if you're into the fantasy leagues, if you had those 2 guys, you had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers would have 14.5 points, and I think Lamar Jackson would have right around about 26, 28.
Right.
Danny Dimes beats the Broncos.
I'm telling you, man, 23 for 34, 306 yards and 1 touchdown. And then, of course, Jonathan Taylor showed out running the ball for Indianapolis, 25 carries, 165 yards. And and Daniel Jones spread the ball around. Tyler Warren, 4 receptions, 79 yards. Alec Pierce, 4 receptions, 68 yards. Josh Downs, 6 receptions, 51 yards. Jonathan Taylor, 2 for 50. Michael Pittman Jr., 4 for 40. Not a good game for Bo Nix. 22 for 30 for 206 yards. He did have 3 touchdowns, but he did throw 1 interception. J.K. Dobbins had 14 carries, 76 yards. And
I know it's still early. It's week 2.
yeah,
I could not. If you would have told me 2 weeks ago that the Colts are sitting here going into week 3 2-0,
it would be hard to believe. Yeah, I agree with that.
And honestly, looking like the contender to win their.
Yeah, and Denver being 1-1, yeah, it's not something that you would expect to see going forward.
One thing that we did expect to see though is Cardinals beat Panthers. Panthers fall to 0-2. Cardinals only walk away from this game 27-22. Bryce Young did have a good game, 35 for 55 for 328 yards, 3 TDs. I'd like to see him throwing the ball less. I'd like to see the Panthers pick up a run game.
Yeah, they need to.
Hubbard, 10 carries for 38 yards. McMillan did have a 100-yard game, 6 receptions.
Yeah.
You throw for 328 yards and still lose a game. Like
that's hard to swallow.
That is very hard to swallow. That's almost like watching Russell Wilson lose.
Yeah, I agree.
And to the not primetime game, but
the Sunday night game or the Sunday afternoon game. Yeah.
Eagles beat Chiefs 20-17.
So this was a defensive game on both parts. I mean, both the Kansas City's defense and Philadelphia's defense were really, really good in this game. I watched a little bit of this game. Jalen Hurts, 15 for 22, 101 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Saquon Barkley, 22 carries, 88 yards, 1 touchdown. Jalen Hurts did run the ball 3 for 15 with 1 touchdown. Patrick Mahomes.
If you would have told me the Chiefs are 0-2, I wouldn't.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, 16 for 29, 187, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But then he showed out rushing, 7 carries, 66 yards, and 1 touchdown. They both got the balls to their playmakers. Their playmakers did what they did. But I think because these two have played each other so much in the regular season and in the postseason, they just know what the other team's going to do. So the defense is a lot better prepared when you play a team so much that it turns into a defensive battle. This was a good game. Philadelphia came away with it. But yeah, Philadelphia being 2-0 is not that big of a deal, but Kansas City being 0-2, yeah, that's surprising.
And then into the primetime game, Falcons look really good. They beat the Vikings 22-6.
Mm-hmm.
Off of J.J. McCarthy throwing 2 interceptions. He actually got hurt in this game as well.
Right.
Bijan Robinson goes 22 carries for 143 yards. Justin Jefferson, still Justin Jefferson. 3 receptions for 81 yards.
Yeah, and I think the difference in this game was the Russian attack that Atlanta was able to get going. In total, they had 218 yards as a team between Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. When you look at Minnesota's rushing game, they only had 19 for 78. I think that was the difference in the game with Atlanta being able to establish that run game.
That run game took a lot of pressure off Penix.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And if they can continue to do that throughout the year, I think in that Bucs game we saw Penix get frustrated. We saw him under pressure.
Right.
The Falcons, I think this weekend got back to what they want to do with the football.
Right. Yeah.
Moving into the Monday slate, Texans fall 0-2, lose 20-19 against the Bucs. I didn't get to watch this game.
I watched a little bit of it, and I will tell you that Baker Mayfield, he balled. 25 for 38, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also ran the ball 3 times for 33 yards. Bucky Irving, he was able to get his run game going, 17 carries, 71 yards. And Rashid White was also able to get 10 carries for 65 yards and 1 touchdown. Baker did spread the ball around. Mike Evans had 5 receptions, 56 yards. Bucky Irving had 6 receptions, 50 yards. Sterling Shepard, 4 receptions for 34 yards. And then Ibuka had 4 receptions and 29 yards and 1 touchdown. He's got 3 touchdowns as a rookie for this season so far in 2 games. So he's going to be. I think he's going to take a lot of pressure off of Mike Evans, and I think Baker is going to be able to start spreading that ball around a little bit better. C.J. Stroud, 13 for 24, 207 yards, 1 touchdown. He played a good game. Nick Chubb ran the ball 12 times for 43 yards and 1 touchdown. Stroud also carried the ball 4 times for 27 yards. Nico Collins, 3 receptions, 52 yards. Woody Marks, 1 for 37. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, though, the difference in the game, I think, again, the rushing attack. In total, Tampa Bay ran the ball for 169 yards to Houston's 84. And they were still able to keep it close, but I just think that was the deciding factor, picking up first downs and wearing down that great Houston defense. Now, Houston did defensively, I believe it was Will Anderson might have went out with an injury in that game. I'd have to double check on that, but I think he did go out. Which is a huge hit to them, yes. So
Tampa Bay traditionally runs to the edges.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if how that injury is going to affect them. If it's going to be a long-term injury, or if it's just something that happened in the game and he's able to come back from it.
Yeah, moving into the primetime slot. This was a late game.
This started at
anybody that works was able to stay.
This started at 10 Eastern, which would have been 7 Pacific out there in L.A. So I did not watch this game. I just saw the news on it, and of course, the big news out of this game was not the Chargers winning; it was the fact that Tom Brady was sitting in the coach's box with a headset on. So, and again, I still don't understand why that's such a big deal, but hey, whatever floats your boat. But overall, Jim Harbaugh and them, they went in there and they basically made the Raiders look bad. So,
ESPN's kind of slacking on the stats here for this one.
Yeah. So, overall team stats, LA had the Chargers had 317 total yards to the Raiders 218. The Raiders did turn the ball over 3 times. That I'm sure that definitely contributed to the loss. Geno Smith, to my understanding, did not have a good game. Pete Carroll's birthday, and he gets his first loss of the year for this year. He turns 72, I believe, 72 or 73. But I think the Raiders are going to bounce back, and I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to fix some things, and I think they'll be a competitive team for all the LA fans or all the Raider fans out there. And can LA please share some of the love and give us a team out here down in the South to, like in Alabama or somewhere to, break up 4 teams, or how many teams are in LA now? You got the Chargers, you got the Rams, and you got the Raiders. Oh no, the Raiders are Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, my bad. Okay.
Out in Cali, you got the 49ers, Rams, and Chargers.
Yeah, 3, right? Yeah. So, but anyway. So that's wrapping up the NFL slate for last week. We will go over this week's games on Thursday. We already went over the news for tonight. We'll revisit the breaking news as we get it between now and Thursday when we're back on. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. You got anything else?
No, that'll be it.
All right.
Make sure you tune in on Thursday as we cover the next week's games.
Yeah, we'll be live again.
So I was able to pick a perfect NFL slate this weekend.
Oh my God, here we go.
Missed college football, I think, by 2 games. 6.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Fire Billy Napier and find us a better coach. With that being said, thanks for... Oh, shut up. Yeah, way to go. Technical difficulties, guys. We're coming right back. No, I'm just speaking. Man, shut your mouth. Nobody's liking you right now. We do not want Mike Bobo. Stop it. Stop it.
And y'all can sign him and definitely keep him. You make him a quarterback coach.
Then I'll have to go be an Alabama fan. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us on Beyond the Game. We appreciate it. If this episode helps you in any way, please subscribe, review, share it with your friends and family and on social media. Like us. We'll be back Thursday live. Go follow us on Instagram, Facebook. And we appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. We'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good one.